approves of Mary for her views, they make him sick. But pray he does not tell her, lest she punch him in the punch him in the
Good day, Mistress Payne. How may I help you this day?
Blessed day, Dr. Foreman. I am just come from taking my niece to visit Rochester Cathedral. Thomas Blogg is the cathedral's dean, I believe. Know you of Dean Blogg?
Aye, I know something of him.
Verily, that man is a model to us all. Under his stewardship, the cathedral's decorative furnishings have been stripped away. He has even replaced the silver candlesticks with pewter. Such pious modesty in the sight of God.
Has he indeed? How very interesting. And, godly, yes. But what is it that brings you this day?
Before I begin upon my business, Dr. Foreman, I must commend you for correctly predicting the sinking of the Spanish Armada.
Ah, yes. 'Twas I who did predict the great storm that sunk the Spanish ships, was it not? I have oft thought that careful study of coastal weather patterns may provide...
And we must give thanks to God for the divine vengeance he wrought upon the heretics. I did hear that by morning our beaches were verily littered with the corpses of Spanish sailors. Praise be to the Lord, his glory to behold.
Yes, praise be. But all the same, you seem anxious this day, Mistress Payne. What is troubling you?
Indeed, I am troubled, Dr. Foreman. I fear for the Queen's health. Everyone is saying that as she is exceeding old, she is soon to die.
Ah, yes, I quite understand your feelings, madam. How we love our good Queen Bessie. Long may she reign. But will she? That is the question, is it not? For she cannot live forever, and when at last she does expire, we shall be stricken with such lamentation and grief.
Mayhap you, but not I. Elizabeth Tudor is naught but a sceptred whore, but still a whore who presides over the Church of England and keeps Rome at bay. And without an heir, who knows what manner of foreigner may succeed her when she dies? For all we know, he may flood the land with foul popery.
Foul popery? I take it you do not care for dried floral arrangements. But, madam, surely fresh flowers are more customary at royal funerals.
Did you not heed me, Mr. Foreman? I wish to know whether the English throne is safe from a Catholic successor.
Ah, yes, of course. Then let us consult the stars. Is our Queen's long reign in danger of ending soon? And if so, do we risk a Catholic succeeding her to the throne? The Queen's prognosis is good, madam. God will ensure she remains in health for some years yet. And when at last Her Majesty does expire, whomever succeeds her will happily take his place at the head of the Church of England. I may assure you that England will not revert its allegiance to the Church of Rome.
Ah, praise be! To know that England shall remain safe from Satan's earthly servants is well indeed. Fare you well, and may God give you a blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
Lancelot more noble, more blood, much of it lately spilled in the mud. Had some different choices been made, might Lancelot have been spared from the blade.
Good day, Mr. Moore. How fare you this fine Tuesday? Oh, on my word, you do not look well. Your face is very pale, and I detect a foul odour.
'Tis true, I fare not well, but there is no reason to be rude about it, Foreman.
Sir, I was merely expressing my concern. You appear stricken with fever, and, methinks, an infected wound.
I shall undo my breeches for you. There, do you see?
My, I do see. 'Tis a knife wound by the look of it.
A barber surgeon did stitch it up, but now it does ooze this noisome green stuff all over my fine linens. So I came to you.
And you were very right to do so.
I was, because I think it only fair that you fix it. After all, this is all your fault, Foreman.
My fault? Sir, I do not follow.
You told me I had nothing to fear from that wretched maiden's family when I broke off my engagement, but you were wrong.
Then I am most sorry for it. I gather the family did not take the news philosophically.
Verily, they did not. The maid herself wept, as is to be expected, but the father took it most violently. He called me an oath-breaking chudlord, whereupon he laid hands upon me and threw me out onto the street.
Indeed.
But 'twas not the end of it. For some weeks later, I was set upon by the maid's brother and his band of knaves. They left me for dead behind an alehouse. If I had not been discovered by the night watch, I might have died.
Sorry business indeed. I will have my manservant William clean your wound and apply a balm to it. But pray tell me more of your fever. How oft does it come?
Well, I did not have this fever yesterday, and I was well enough to go to church on Sunday. Oh, and to the theatre the day before. But Friday last, I was stricken abed with it.
Fever this day and Friday last. Now mayhap we consult the stars. What kind of fever has Lancelot more? You're troubled with the quartan fever, a fever that comes every 4th day. It's caused by rotting bile. You must abstain from eating pork and any other meats that slow the digestion, and you must not bathe, but have a servant rub your back very vigorously every day until the fever abates.
Then what is it that you're mixing for me there? 'Tis true I am thirsty, but if you know wine, you might offer me instead.
'Tis an infusion of chamomile, mallow, mercury, and leaves of the black violet. William shall be administering it up the fundament. Pray lower your breeches, if you please.
Rejoice in the Lamb, served by God's bishop. To his guests for dinner at his palace in land. Rejoice in the Lamb, and beef, and the fruit, and the swan pie.
Good day and well met, Lord Archbishop. What a pleasure it is to welcome your grace once more to my humble consulting chambers. Do you ail of something, sir?
Nay, I am in good health. I am come for information. That is, I am come for an astrological reading concerning one of my deans, Thomas Blagg, the Dean of Rochester Cathedral. I hear you are acquainted with him, are you not?
Yes, so please your grace. I am honoured to say that Dean Blagg is one of my querents.
I see. What a remarkable coincidence. Then you may know that Dean Blagg has been petitioning me to promote him to the rank of bishop, specifically to grant him the vacant seat of the bishopric of Salisbury. I wonder if you, that is, if the stars and planets and so forth, might tell me if there be any reason why Thomas Blagg might not be a fitting candidate for such a position of responsibility.
I see. Then let us see what the stars can tell us. Should Thomas Blagg, Dean of Rochester, be made the Bishop of Salisbury? You must not grant Thomas Blagg the bishopric of Salisbury, Your Grace, for it seems Dean Blagg has been embezzling from the church. He has been removing cathedral furnishings, fine paintings, tapestries, candlesticks and the like, and selling them for his own enrichment, or mayhap to pay off his personal debts.
Verily? Well, I do hear it remarked that the Rochester Cathedral has been looking a little Puritan of late. Mayhap I shall have my chaplain cast an eye over the cathedral accounts.
Before you leave, Your Grace, perchance I may broach a small matter of my own. Methinks you have the power to grant medical licenses, do you not? Although I am an experienced physician, you may have heard of my work during the plague of 1592, for instance, I am not technically licensed to practice medicine. It has been causing some administrative troubles of late. I wonder if Your Grace might condescend to help me by...
You would have me grant you a medical license, would you? I suppose that might be arranged. Leave it with me, and I will have my chaplain look into it.
I thank you heartily, Your Grace. Your Grace is most generous.
Alice Blagg is on the make, mayhap even on the take. Could it be for her family's sake? Seriously give her a break.
God give you good day, Mistress Blagg. Pray tell, what brings you?
I would know whether my lover, Owen Wood, is resolved to leave me something in his will. A small legacy, mayhap. A large one. I do hope he intends to leave me something.
Owen Wood? He is the Dean of Armagh, is he not? But were you not pursuing, Richard Bancroft, the Bishop of London?
Aye, and your notion to use Lambeth Palace for an assignation did work wondrous well. We had a small dalliance, the bishop and I. But 'tis all over now, for I did end it.
Only a small dalliance. But I thought your plans for the bishop were larger in scope. In our last consultation, you had me believe you were looking for something more substantial.
Aye, I was. But I will not lie, I was disappointed.
I see. Now perchance we may proceed to this matter concerning Owen Wood. Pray tell, why would you wish to know whether he has included you in his will? Is he gravely ill?
Not presently, but methinks he will be soon, for he has gone to Ireland to join that peacocking mumphead, the Earl of Essex.
I see. He has gone to fight in Robert Devereux's military campaign to put down the Catholic rebels in Ireland. But you're being a little harsh, are you not? 'Tis true he has had some bad luck of late, but the Earl is a fine...
Oh, a swole-headed failson is what his lordship is. 'Twould not surprise me if he read his map upside down and marched his men into a bog to drown. Pray, let us do my reading, if you please.
Certainly. If Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh, were to die, would Alice Blagg inherit anything from his estate? I am happy to assure you, madam, that Owen Wood will not die in Ireland.
On my honour, that is most reassuring to hear. Methinks. Nay, it is.
And even if he were to die, Dean Wood has little to leave you in his will, for the stars suggest that he has barely a penny to his name.
You mean to say Dean Wood has frittered all his money away likewise?
Aye, it would seem that you and Mistress Wood share something in common. That is, aside from...
Oh, well, I never. These clergymen. A band of boil-brained chump lords, the lot of them.
Good dawning, D-Blag. How may I do you service this day?
I hope you will do me service, Dr. Foreman. For at my last consultation, you served me very ill.
Ah,
Indeed, your prediction that Raleigh and Essex would succeed in capturing those Spanish treasure ships did put me in a most lamentable position. I had my tailor fashion me these fine new robes, and now I have not the money to pay him for it.
then I'm heartily sorry for it, sir. Though your new robes are indeed very fine. Is that a different shade of black, or...?
And I know not how, but my wife Alice has lately learned of our perilous financial situation.
Ah, has she?
Aye, and she has had me petition the Archbishop for a promotion. 'Tis her reckoning that if I were promoted to bishop, the increased living would enable me to settle our debts.
That would seem wise under the circumstances. And was your petition successful?
It was, at least at first. Indeed, His Grace did have me believe he is minded to make me Bishop of Salisbury.
The bishopric of Salisbury. But that is excellent well, is it not?
It would be very well, forsooth. But many months have passed, and the Archbishop gives yet no sign of granting the vacant bishopric to anybody.
I see. And he does not say when the matter may be decided?
Nay, indeed he does not. Whenever I raise the question with His Grace, he says he needs time to consider the various episcopal and doctrinal matters concerning such an appointment. All the while, he has me performing additional duties that I dare not refuse, lest I lose his favour. And Mistress Blarg has sent him pies upon numerous occasions.
And yet the Archbishop is not moved? Oh, he must be a very hard man indeed, for your wife's pies are well renowned for their powers of persuasion. Now, let us see what the stars can tell us. Will Thomas Blarg, Dean of Rochester, be granted the bishopric of Salisbury? The stars do confirm that you will be granted the bishopric, for you have acquitted your duties well and proved yourself a skilled administrator. Forsooth, I've heard it remarked that the recent removal of some of your cathedral's more decadent furnishings has rendered the cathedral more suitable for humble worship and sober reflection.
Blessed news! And upon which day will I be ordained? I must inform Mistress Blarg, so that she may prepare our household for removal to the Bishop's Palace at Salisbury.
Well, I would advise you and Mistress Blarg not to act too precipitously, for the stars indicate that you may need to exercise the Christian virtue of patience,
Patience? Sirrah, do not speak to me of patience. John Whitgift has strung me along for over a year on this matter. A bishop's living is little use to me if I'm to be bankrupted while waiting on it.
Lancelot more awe-struck by the muse, for his sonnets found there be no excuse. Many do strike him a chain, and for his verse they damn him to hell.
Good morrow, Mr. Moore. How fare you this day?
Forsooth, I fare very well, for I have become acquainted with the most wondrous of creatures, a lady who has lately been widowed.
Let me just take some notes here. Is this one dark or fair? Auburn with eyes of green, mayhap? I do not believe there's yet been an auburn-haired maid.
Fie, Mr. Foreman. Prithee show more respect for ladies than to view them as mere collections of physical charms. Beauty alone is of nothing to a man such as I. Nay, my heart does belong to a worldly woman of culture and learning. her head almost as striking as the soft hair and radiant eyes that adorn it. Indeed, her gift of understanding is so strong she can listen to my sonnets for hours on end.
She can she? Forsooth, the lady does show great strength of mind indeed. And how might I advise you?
I would have you tell me whether I should marry her, for, as you know, I have offered my troth to ladies in the past, and it has not ended well for me. So, this time I did tell myself, Lancelot, you will proceed with caution. You will know the lady for at least a month before you think of wedding her, and then you'll go directly to Foreman for his counsel.
Then let us consult the stars now. Should Lancelot Moore marry this wondrous and worldly widow? You must not marry this lady, sir. You are a wealthy man, and she has designs upon your fortune that may result in your untimely death.
Ye gods! Verily?
I am afeard so. You must take care not to let your emotions lead you astray.
She seemed so. She told me she... Are you sure? You did not put a planet in the wrong house or what not?
Aye, quite sure.
Oh, well indeed, 'tis most lamentable. Oh, what a waste of such fine eyes. Mayhap Emma has a sister.
Sibyl's not blessed, for when she tries her best, 'tis then she does her worst. From being overdressed to poisoning her guests, ambition has her curse.
Good day, Mistress Fortescue.
I do hope you may help me, Dr. Foreman, for I am mightily afflicted with fever and pain.
Yes, I see. Your face is a trifle red in colour. When did your troubles begin? At a dinner party, perchance?
Nay, 'twas at a luncheon, the one I gave this day. I sought to play a trick upon my friend, Lady Emma Dyer, and I worry God is punishing me for my japery.
And what manner of jape did you play on your friend at this luncheon of yours? Pray, describe the ruse to me.
Well, I came upon the idea when I took receipt of a trunk full of exotic goods from the New World. Lovely gifts sent home to me by my gallant husband. Know you of my husband, Captain Henry Fortescue? He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, of course.
I think you have mentioned him once or twice, madam.
The trunk contained a parcel of dried fruits, full red in colour they were, and with them a note of warning. On it was writ that these fruits, if not consumed in moderation, can provoke a hot, pricking fever when ingested.
Ah, yes. I have read of this fruit in the writings of Spanish explorers. Capsicum icaramba mequema is the botanical name, I believe.
I am well known for serving the most original dishes at my table. Hence my guests were not surprised when I invited them to try my exotic fruit. I served them each a sweet pie containing one of these, capsicum...
Icaramba mequema.
But I made sure Emma received a pie containing the very largest fruit, and I the very smallest one.
I see. You hoped to occasion a fever in your friend while escaping the same fate yourself. And yet this ruse did not succeed, I take it.
Nay, it did not, Dr. Foreman. Most of my guests dared only take one bite of their pies before abandoning them, finding themselves unequal to the challenge. But Emma ate hers all up, as did I. I was sure I would be safe, and that she would turn red and begin to perspire most shamefully, but she remained as cool as a cucumber. But
you, madam?
But I began to feel such pain in my mouth and throat. My face and eyes turned red. Moisture gathered on my brow and bosom, and damp marks appeared on my bodice. I could not conceal it from my guests. 'Twas humiliating.
How distressing for you, madam. Let us now seek a solution to this mystery in the stars. what might explain the querent's affliction? One moment, madam, while I consult that Spanish book I mentioned earlier. The one recounting travels in the New World. Ah, yes. That is interesting.
What is interesting, Dr. Foreman?
The stars say you have quinsy, and this book confirms my suspicions as to what provoked it. Madam, 'tis not the larger fruits that occasion pain when consumed. 'Tis the small ones, such as the one you had baked into the pie for yourself.
You mean to say the smaller fruits are more dangerous than the larger ones? How strange! Verily, how topsy-turvy!
The pain will be gone by the morrow, but in the meantime you may find relief by washing your mouth out with wine.
Burgundy wine? Or will an ordinary claret suffice?
Any wine will do, madam. God give ye good even, Mistress Fortescue.
Humphrey Bell, who is this comely youth? Mayhap a little shy, but pleasing to the eye. His eyes, his hair, his shape, his form, forsooth, has he a sweetheart? Pray tell us the truth.
Good morrow, young sir. Methinks this is your first consultation, Mr.
Humphrey Bell, sir.
And how may I do you service this day, Mr. Bell?
I want to get lean in that.
You wish to become lean, you say? And why would you need to be any leaner than you are now? You do not appear at all overplump. Indeed, you appear to be a young man in the full vigour of health.
Yay, but I do the lady parts though, innit?
You do the lady parts. Oh, I see. You are a player who plays feminine roles upon the stage. Yes, I think I recognise you now. You play for Lord Chamberlain's men, do you not? The company of players led by Will Shakespeare, Richard Burbage and Will Kemp, among others.
Aye, sir. I play for them as a hired man, and next month I'm to play a fairy queen in a play we're doing for Lord Hunston at his daughter's wedding. But bossman Burbage says I'm too plump for the role.
Humphrey, your girth does make it difficult for an audience to imagine you getting up out of your fairy throne, let alone flying.
Yes, I think I understand. 'Twould imperil the audience's suspension of disbelief, thus breaking the fourth wall, as you players so call it.
Ah, sir, indeed. Mr. Burbage worries much for them scenery walls, for he says my rear end is of such a size 'tis liable to smash right through 'em. Anyways, Mistress Burbage told me that to fit into her gown she bids herself chunder after eating. Might you give me some herbs for that or something?
And Mistress Burbage would be Richard Burbage's wife, I presume. Well, to judge what would be most effective in your case, I shall need to consult the stars. What should Mr. Humphrey Bell do to become leaner? The solution is quite simple, Mr. Bell. If you would make yourself leaner, you have but to eat less.
Why would I need a doctor to tell me that though? I need something to do it quicker than that, urgent like. Know you what I mean?
Indeed. Sadly, I am familiar with the tendency of the young folk of this day to seek quick, easy fixes to their problems.
What about Mrs. Burbage and her chundering though? Can I not have what she is taking?
Well, there are ways to induce imbalances in your body to purge itself, but doing so is not at all healthsome. For instance, I might have told you of the dangerous practice of taking goodly quantities of prunes and rhubarb to purge from the fundament, but that would have been negligent of me, for as a physician I cannot endorse...
Prunes and rhubarb? So I just eat them things. Easy.
Thank
you, Doctor. Give you a good day.
Hold, sir. I'd strongly advise against such a...
Favored is Essex and close to the crown. Nobles like him do fare up more than down. His family's too grand to jail, too rich to jail. But if Essex disobeys the Queen, she'll put him in the ground.
Good day, my lord. I must own, your lordship's visit to my chambers does surprise me, for I'd believed, well, indeed all of England believes, that you are in Ireland at present.
Did anyone see me? No? Good. Now bid your manservant close the shutters.
As your lordship pleases. William! William! Pray close the shutters. Yes, all of them. And fetch us some candles.
I pray the counsel you give me this day be wise, sirrah, for I find myself in the most desperate of predicaments.
And the last advice I gave you? That of offering to lead a military campaign to put down the Irish rebellion? I trust it worked to win back the Queen's favour. Indeed, the parade given to send you off was most impressive. I was there. Did you see me? I did wave at you. Nay, I do not imagine you would have seen me. So great were the crowds.
Yes, my offer to lead the campaign was well received by the Queen. But there was a fatal flaw in your advice.
Oh, and this flaw was...
Is it not obvious? I had to verily go to that midge-ridden bog-hole and try to put down the Irish. God's breath! Have you seen the Irish? They are savages. That Irish chieftain O'Neill and his band of fen-born brutes are especially bad.
Forsooth, they sound most fearsome. 'Tis a mercy you escaped with your life and are now back home safe in England.
Nay, I am not yet safe in England, I fear. For when the Queen finds out that I made a truce with O'Neill, heaven only knows how ill she will take it. Even my leaving Ireland without her permission will doubtless vex her.
Then the Queen has not been informed of your return?
Nay, she knows yet nothing of it. I am at present taking refuge with my sister, the Countess of Devonshire, at her country estate. But I cannot hide there forever. Hence I am come to you this day so that the stars may advise me on how I may extract myself from my current predicament and win back the favour of the Queen.
Then let us see what the stars advise. How might Lord Devereux escape the displeasure of Her Majesty the Queen and regain her favour? The stars foretell of violence enacted by officers of the law.
Ah, verily. 'Tis doubtless a beheading. Forsooth, I do enjoy a good beheading.
Well, 'tis likely to be a trifle more elaborate than that. If the Queen is particularly vexed, it will start with a quick hanging until just afore the point of death, followed by a disemboweling and emasculation.
Ah, yes, of course.
Whereafter the gentleman is invited to watch his own entrails and privy parts being lightly grilled upon an open fire, before he is chopped into 4 separate pieces.
A quartering, I think you mean?
Which, as etiquette dictates, are then to be parcelled up and sent as gifts to any friends and family members unable to attend the ceremony.
Ah, yes, splendid. An execution with all the trimmings. Verily, whilst a simple beheading can be a most elegant entertainment, 'tis a trifle too, well, continental for my taste. Why, 'tis oft over in mere moments. Whereas a full English execution keeps one entertained throughout the whole morning. Though I fail to see what this has to do with... God's breakfast! You mean I am the one to be hung, drawn and quartered?
Well, yes, very possibly. I am afeard the only course left to you now is to humble yourself before the Queen. The stars suggest you might be able to convince her to look upon you as the son she never had. A naughty, wayward child who has rebelled against his parent. With time and patience, she may forgive you.
In truth, 'tis not the worst of ideas, and it might even clear the path for the possibility of... Yes, methinks this plan may serve me very well.
Praise him, praise be to the Lord. The Lord, Archbishop with gift, and thereby the Redeemer unto us is eternal grace and favor. Praise be to the Lord, Archbishop with gift.
Good day, Your Grace, and well met. Might I inquire whether Your Grace has made a decision regarding whether to give Thomas Blagg the bishopric of Salisbury?
Ah, yes, Dean Blagg. I had my chaplain look into what you told me regarding irregularities in Dean Blagg's stewardship of Rochester Cathedral. Methinks you said he was embezzling coin and pawning cathedral furnishings, did you not? Well, it seems you did speak true.
Oh, indeed?
Of course, I will make nothing of it, as I wish to avoid the scandal. I merely told Dean Blagg that I could not offer him the bishopric due to various episcopal and doctrinal constraints.
Of course. And what problem would Your Grace wish me to address this day?
Oh, 'tis a problem with my other deans. With each passing day there seems to be a new dean at the palace gates, come to petition me for this wretched bishopric of Salisbury. Presently, 'tis Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh. Since he returned from Ireland, he talks of nothing else.
How tiresome for Your Grace.
Indeed. I have told Owen that I am giving his request careful consideration, but in my experience, this only delays a dean for so long. I do have to grant the occasional bishopric, or else my deans become restless.
Doubtless, Your Grace.
But after what I learned about Dean Blagg, I must take care to exercise caution. Hence, I would have you tell me anything you know, that is, anything the stars reveal, about Owen Wood that would render him unsuitable to perform the role of bishop.
Then let us ask the stars. Is there any reason why the Most Reverend John Whitgift, the Archbishop of Canterbury, should not grant Owen Wood the bishopric of Salisbury? I must advise against granting Owen Wood the bishopric, for the stars reveal that he has sinned most grievously.
Ah, verily? Grievously, you say?
I am afeard Dean Wood did commit the sin of adultery.
Ah, nothing else?
'Twas more than once, Your Grace.
Doubtless, doubtless. While I appreciate your most excellent discernment of this information from the stars, I must own that Dean Wood's extra-clerical activities are already well known to me. Why, even my own wife has had a tumble with the man.
Your Grace, I am sorry.
Hold, Sarah. In truth, 'tis of no consequence to me. What occurs in Lambeth Palace bides in Lambeth Palace, as we like to say. But you are right to remind me of Dean Wood's indiscretions. For mayhap it be not wise to elevate Owen to such a public position as bishop. I do have the reputation of the church to consider.
Indeed, Your Grace.
I will tell Owen that while I had every intention of granting him the bishopric, my hands are now tied due to various episcopal and doctrinal constraints.
Very wise, Your Grace. And one more matter, if I may. Has Your Grace yet had the opportunity to consider the granting of my medical license?
Ah, yes, that. Once my chaplain has finished looking into the matter, I shall be giving it careful consideration. Good day.
Since Blood left Alice in the lurch, for solution she does search. 'Tis true she's the bedded half the church, but Blood left Alice in the lurch.
Good day, mistress. What brings you?
I am come about my lover who is lately returned from Ireland.
Ah, yea, and your current lover is, as I recall... Ah, yes, your lover at present is Owen Wood, the Reverend Dean of Armagh, is it not?
Aye.
And according to my notes, you were afeard he might die in battle.
Aye, but you were right. Owen did not die.
And yet you do not appear to be much pleased he's returned alive. Whatever is the matter, madam?
It is being said around the diocese that my lover, Owen Wood, is romantically entangled with 2 other women.
And who might these 2 other women be? Might one of them be his wife, or...?
Of course not. Do not jape with me, Foreman. I did hear that one of the ladies Owen is seeing is Mistress Ways, while the other is a certain Anne Hayborn, with whom I am not yet acquainted. I do hear she is a very young and comely maiden, though mayhap a maiden no longer. I prithee, scribble one of those doodles of yours and tell me if this be true.
Madam, if you will but afford me some silence and calm, I will compose one of my doodles, as you so call my mathematically precise astronomical charts, and endeavour to answer your question. To wit, is Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh, wooing other women? I have good tidings for you, mistress. Your relationship with Owen Wood is secure. 'Tis true he has indeed been conducting intimate liaisons with some of the wives and daughters of various deans and bishops, but...
So then 'tis true! What a maid-fiddling maggot of a man is he!
Aye, but prithee, madam, I had not finished. The stars suggest that Dean Wood's affairs with these women will shortly end, for it seems he is in dispute with them.
What, with all of them? At the same time?
It would seem so. Mayhap they all have been apprised of the same rumour that brings you this day.
Well, I am glad to hear these affairs are soon to be ended, but I will not lie, I am no less vexed with him. And indeed, if Owen has been larking about, 'tis only fair I do the same, to even things out between us.
Ah, I think what you may be referring to is lex talionis. 'Tis the law of retaliation, as practised by the ancient Babylonians. Well, madam, indeed, if it would help square matters betwixt you and Dean Wood, you may consider me wholly at your service. God give you good even, Your Grace. I trust you were pleased with the previous counsel I gave you? The advice I gave against granting Owen Wood the bishopric of Salisbury.
Ah, yes, your counsel did indeed prove sound, for Dean Wood is now cods deep in scandal. The parish council has received numerous paternity suits, and 'tis said that scores of defiled wenches bethrong the gates of his deanery each morning, clutching suckling babes and demanding recourse. As for young Anne Hayborn, she has had her reputation ruined, and Dean Ways is barely speaking to his wife anymore.
On my word, how disgraceful.
Aye, indeed. If only Owen had the sense to exercise more discretion.
Yes, indeed, Your Grace.
The Bishop of London, for instance, manages his affairs very quietly. I might have been able to look the other way, but in this instance I could not let Owen's indiscretions pass. For a wretched local woman by the name of Mary Payne got wind of the scandal and stirred up a public fuss about it. Oh, the devil take the woman and her bacon-faced husband.
If I might venture an opinion, Your Grace, mayhap if we were to pay no heed to Mary Payne and her ilk, they would eventually tire of their animus and leave us all be. But is it upon such problems you come this day, or upon some other matter?
I am come about my health. I believe I do ail of something.
Then pray, describe your complaints to me, Your Grace.
Well, I am afflicted with pain in my back, and at times I find myself hard of breathing. Indeed, I feel I may have phlegm in my chest, and I do bear these odd-looking spots upon my body that will not mend.
If you will permit me to loosen your robes to examine you. I see. Methinks I have a notion of what ails you. Let me confirm it with a reading of the stars. What troubles Archbishop Whitgift? Your Grace, I know not how to put this delicately. You have the French pox. I am not sure how this is possible, as you're a man of the cloth. Indeed, mayhap I check the stars again.
No need. I did suspect as much.
Verily? How astute of you. The French pox can oft be difficult to cure, but in your case it is not far advanced. This ointment of ball grease and mercury is to be applied to your entire body. It must be rubbed in vigorously to ensure the mercury is well absorbed into the skin. You may then expect to see the sores on your body start to heal within a matter of days.
I see. And, I imagine your manservant William will be giving me this treatment?
No, Your Grace. The grease is to be taken home with you and applied each night before bed for 9 days. Mayhap your chaplain could apply it to Your Grace's body.
Ah, yes, a fine idea. I thank you for this treatment, sir. Fare you well, Dr. Foreman.
Before you leave, Your Grace, might I inquire again as to the possibility of you granting me a medical license? Your Grace did mention you would give it careful consideration.
Ah, yes, indeed I did I not? Have no fear, Dr. Foreman. My chaplain is looking into it. Good day.
Here comes Lord Devereux, ready to fight. Wild-eyed and restless, he's been up all night. He may not know much, but he knows that he's right. Never
Give ye good morrow, my lord. I trust your lordship is well this day.
Well? God's body, am I likely to be well? I have been languishing under lock and key while all England goes to ruin.
Ah, yes, I did hear something of your arrest. I take it your encounter with the Queen did not go as well as planned.
Nay, 'twas a disaster. I took the precaution of seeking an audience with Her Majesty just after dawn, to be sure I would find her alone. But when I entered her bedchamber, she let out such a blood-curdling scream it alerted the palace guards, who ran into the room and arrested me.
But you were imprisoned in your York House residence, were you not? The fact that you were placed under house arrest and not imprisoned in the Tower surely speaks to the Queen's fondness for you. I trust your time in confinement was not uncomfortable, at least.
Well, yes, my time away from the world and its trifling concerns did, in truth, prove useful. It afforded me time to reflect on larger questions, to take stock of my life and put recent events in perspective.
Ah, I see. And what resolution did this quiet period of sober reflection bring you? A closer relationship with God? Or perchance you are resolved to spend more time with your family?
What? Nay, I said my mind was turned to larger questions. To wit, am I destined for greater things? Am I chosen by God to rule a kingdom? For I must needs act. The realm is under threat from within. For why was I verily imprisoned? Was it merely to punish me for some trifling mistakes I made in Ireland? Nay, 'twas to separate me from the Queen.
Well, I imagine after discovering you in Her Majesty's bedchamber...
Do you not yet see? The Privy Council means to keep me away from Whitehall, lest I see how they have contrived to control and manipulate the Queen since I left for Ireland.
My lord, are you saying the Queen is weak and no longer in control of her reign?
Aye, indeed. Something must be done about it. Well, man, do not just stand there.
Yes, of course, my lord. Let us see whether the stars may give you your answer. Is Robert Lord Devereux, Earl of Essex, destined to, rule England? The stars confirm your fears, my lord. Her Majesty's failure to provide an heir has created the conditions for much plotting and scheming, and her refusal thus far to name a successor has provided an opportunity for powerful forces who would seek to gain control of the throne. Indeed, the realm is in grave danger, and the stars suggest that you are a strong, wise leader, chosen by God to lead England, mayhap as Lord Protector of the realm?
By God's underlumps, 'tis true. Huzzah!
As to practical matters, the stars suggest you use your significant wealth to, ensure cooperation and procure the influence you will need to secure success in this endeavour.
Then I will rally my forces and make the necessary preparations. For England, for God, Queen, and country. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Almighty God, redeem thy servant Saul's track, for thy eternal grace and mercy. Is not shed by his wife.
Good day, Dean Blarg. How now, good sir? I see you do ale of something.
I do ale of something, foreman. Forsooth, I fear I am very ill indeed, for I tremble day and night with fever, and my face does itch and prick with pain.
Verily, you do exhibit upon your nose and cheeks a rash of a most remarkable hue.
Before you do this reading for me, foreman, I must have your word that you will not speak of this to my wife, Alice. In truth, I I have had her believe that I was set upon by an angry swarm of wasps that have lately been nesting in the north transept of the cathedral.
I do understand. A kind husband would naturally wish to shield his wife from any undue distress.
Ah, yea, that of course. And there be also the small matter of the promise I did make to restore the Blagg family fortune before I died, and thus not leave my wife and children to live in penury when I am gone. If Mistress Blagg were to think that I am gravely ill, it would provoke some awkwardness between us that I would rather wish to avoid.
Ah, I take it then that your finances are also in poor health.
Forsooth they are. And had you warned me that the Archbishop would never grant me the bishopric of Salisbury, perchance I may have acted sooner to recover them.
I see. Well, as to your wife, Alice, be not afeard, sir. We doctors take querent confidentiality most seriously. As Hippocrates did say, testa Apollinum medicum secreta, among other things. Now, mayhap we proceed to consult the stars on the matter of your condition. With what disease is my querent Thomas Blagg troubled, and how may he be cured? It would seem you are troubled with a severe disease of the skin known as erysipelas. It is quite serious, though you may find some temporary relief from the pain and fever by vigorously purging from your fundament. To induce such a thing, I do advise the consumption of a considerable quantity of prunes, or mayhap rhubarb. Of course, it does depend on the season.
Erysipelas? Prunes? O merciful Lord, if it be thy will that I should die, and if thou hast writ these mortal signs upon the stars, I beseech thee, have thy servant Simon Foreman speak the truth.
Prithee, sir, I had not finished. Oh, my dear friend, I will not lie to you. Your condition is quite advanced. In truth, I fear you must prepare for the worst. If you will not share this grave news with Mistress Blagg, perchance you might speak to her from the safety of, from beyond the grave? That is to say, write her a letter that may be read to her after you're gone. Your loving words, though thus delayed, may provide her comfort in her time of grief and destitution.
God bless you for your candour, sir, as well your wisdom and friendship these last years. I will now go and pray upon what you have told me.
An explorer's wife cannot share his life. She is left alone. She is left alone. Once he is at sea, in a way so she.
Good day, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day? You seem a little out of breath.
Aye, 'tis but my bodice. My maidservant did lace it far too tightly. Methinks she is a trifle vexed with me. Indeed, the atmosphere in the Fortescue household is exceeding ill at present.
Verily? And why is that?
Someone has been stealing food from the larder in the night. This morning, 3 whole swan pies were missing. Each member of the Fortescue household suspects another.
And whom do you think is the author of these thefts, madam?
Well, I suspect my son Harold, as his fondness for pie is well known. But Harry denies it and has accused our maidservant Gladys. And 'tis true that Gladys has become suspiciously wide about the girth of late. And as for Gladys, well, she is convinced the culprit is our African parrot, Sir Muncelot Grey. But Sir Muncelot has denied the accusation and blames my monkey.
Ah, and who does your monkey blame?
How now, Dr. Foreman? Be not absurd. Monkeys cannot speak.
Ah, yes. Then 'tis fortunate that God can. Speak to us, that is, by way of the stars. Who in the Fortescue household has been sneaking into the larder at night to steal pies? Madam, you may eliminate your son from your inquiries, for according to the stars, you have educated him well, and he knows not to steal pies.
Harry is innocent, is he? Then who has been eating our pies?
I am afeard it is the very last individual you would suspect. An individual who is in this very room with us now.
How now, Dr. Foreman? Surely you would not accuse me?
Oh, nay, not you, madam. 'Tis your monkey. What was his name again?
You mean to say Sir Nanahad has been stealing our pies? Oh, my days! What a naughty monkey!
Quite. He is most naughty indeed, 'twould seem.
I must at once to home go and apologise to Sir Muncelot. I never should have doubted him. God give you good even, Dr. Foreman. You have been a bad boy, have you not, Sir Nanahad? Who's a naughty monkey? Yes, you're the naughty monkey. Yes, you're the naughty monkey.
Good even, Mistress Fortescue.
Countrymen, to play a leading game, you must pay the price of looking thin and nice. Drink over your fears, she's all your guilt, and shames you to be judged, and we accord you blame.
Good even, Mr. Bell. What brings you so late this evening, young sir? Have you come from the playhouse?
Yea, I'm come from playing a Duchess in a special performance of Richard II. You know, that play that makes the Queen look bad.
So, Mr. Shakespeare decided to revive his play, did he? I see.
I need you to tell me what to do about my pay. Our seamstress told me she heard Mistress Burbage discoursing how John Crisp is getting paid a full shilling for each performance.
And you feel this is unfair, I take it? I gather Mr. Crisp's pay is greater than yours.
Aye, sir. 'Tis full twice as much coin as they pay me. What I get is barely enough to cover my rent. And my parts are well bigger than his, innit?
And you can fathom no reason for this disparity in pay? He is more experienced, perchance.
What? I've been on the stage since I was a boy, and John's been playing for less than a year. Nay, sir. Mr. Burbage and them other company sharers are paying me less on account of how I'm doing the lady parts.
You mean to say you are being paid less simply because you perform lady roles?
Indeed. John only gets them main parts because he's big and tall, but I'm well better than he is. Critics call my Ophelia the most tantalisingly nubile and tragical performance since Henry Condell's Juliet.
Ah, yes. Having seen Hamlet, I would have to agree with them there. I must own that I, too, found your Ophelia most comely and alluring. Now, let's see what the stars advise. What can be done about you being paid less than players of masculine roles? According to the stars, your employers, the Lord Chamberlain's men, are very wise businessmen.
How do you reckon that? on account of them contriving to pay me less than I deserve?
Precisely so, Mr. Bell, and being so wise, they doubtless deter their hired men from discoursing upon the coin they receive for their labour, perchance to the extent where the men harbour such feelings of shame and suspicion about it, they would more readily show each other their privy parts before they would show their pay.
Aye, 'tis true enough. We oft pull our yardles out when we're jesting about and that. But as for a man's pay, forsooth, 'tis considered most private.
Well, such prudery must end if you and your fellow players are to advance your interests, Mr. Bell. Indeed, methinks that if you were all to begin freely discoursing upon these matters, you will find you are not the only player being paid unjustly. If you do decide to demand more coin from your employers, I advise you to unify with the other hired men and speak as one voice.
Zah! We shall unify and demand them company sharers pay us equal coin for equal playing.
Hear ye! Earl of Essex, foiled in Queen, kidnap, attempt, shocker! Biggest treason fail since Babington plot! Hear ye!
Alice Black, she is a wife. 'Tis one way to live a life, oft with misfortune and with strife, especially if you be Black's wife.
Good day, Mistress Blagg. Pray tell, how did things fare with your gentleman friend, Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh?
Alas, 'tis all over betwixt me and Dean Wood. I did ask him for a small loan, and he was most insulting about it. We have not spoken since. And I think I know why his ardour for me has cooled, for I did lately learn that he has been bedding half the women in the diocese.
Ah, yes. I too did lately hear of this.
So your stars were very wrong to tell me I had nothing to fear from other women vying for Owen Wood's affections. But this day I am come about my husband. Methinks he is ill, yet he pretends he is not.
Ah, pray describe his symptoms to me.
Well, yesterday I did remark that something was amiss when Molly McDoon and I returned from the playhouse. Well, there was a special performance of Richard II at the Globe. Know you of it? Oh, 'tis the play that makes the Queen look bad.
Aye, I know of it.
When I came in the door, there was an awful racket coming from our upstairs rooms. I went to see what the matter was and found my husband tucked up abed, moaning and wailing, and with a monstrous rash all over his face. He told me some nonsense about having been stung by wasps, and that he is merely tired. But I do not believe him.
I see.
I bid you, foreman, tell me true, for I grow ill with worry. Is it grave? Blagg had better not think of dying on me afore he has paid his debts.
Ah, for as his widow, by law, you would inherit them, would you not? But mayhap there is little to worry about. Let us consult the stars and see. What ails Thomas Blagg, the Dean of Rochester? Alas, I am afeard your husband is ill with a disease known as erysipelas. He is in grave danger. Indeed, his case is advanced and beyond treatment. There is nothing to be done now, but prepare yourself for his death, Mistress Blagg. Madam? Alice? Come, Alice, I will find you a chair.
Nay, I must not tarry. I am meeting Mistress McDoon at the Bear for a quiet one. Good day, Foreman.
But Alice...
Hear ye! Traitor loses head after losing mind. Earl of Essex gets the chop for treason. Hear ye!
If you try to argue with her, you will have no luck. She'll twist and turn your logic till your reason comes unstuck. Chastise Mary who you like, she will not give up. Will not give up.
Well met, Mistress Payne. How fare you this day?
Most well indeed, sir, for I am just come from taking my niece on an outing to Tower Hill. 'Twas to see the execution of the traitor Robert Devereux.
Ah, yes, Lord Devereux. What a tragic end to a promising career.
And such a lovely beheading they gave us. My niece and I very much enjoy the hangings at Tyburn, but a beheading is so much more elegant, is it not? Verily, 'tis a better class of execution, I find, and the royal executioner did go down on Devereux with such skill. A single stroke was all it took to give us the traitor's head.
Aye, 'tis true the royal executioner gives excellent...
But I have no time to tarry here and gossip with you, Dr. Foreman. I am come on a matter of great concern, and you are just the man to help, methinks. For your prediction that Elizabeth's reign would endure was true. Whilst the Queen does have the appearance of being naught but a painted corpse propped up on a throne using artfully placed cushions, she is, in law at least, still alive. Praised be!
Ah, indeed. Praised be. And what is this new matter that concerns you?
'Tis that England is filling up with foreigners. Indeed, 'tis been going on for so many years now that in London 'tis rare to hear anyone discoursing in the English tongue any more. The city is crawling with continentals.
Ah, then I take it you do not enjoy your visit to the City of London.
Oh, nay, I have never been to London. For as I did just say, 'tis crawling with continentals, and Lambeth will soon suffer the same fate if we do not act. Why, only the other day I spied a continental on the high street. A monstrous ogre of a man he was. And as for his face, his eyelashes were so fair he had the appearance of having none at all.
Ah, yes, the Netherlanders. 'Tis true the people of the Netherlands can be fair of hair and tall of stature.
And 'tis surely no coincidence that Lambeth has suffered an increase in crime of late. We do not feel safe, Dr. Foreman. Every night we ladies of Fore Street do shiver in our beds at the thought of these frighteningly large men.
I do not doubt it, madam. Now, let us see whether the stars might allay or confirm your fears. Should the residents of Lambeth be concerned about an influx of continentals? The stars indicate your concerns are justified, madam. As you know, many of these continentals are refugees fleeing Catholic violence. But while the poor souls are to be pitied, the stars remind us that our duty lies at home.
Aye, forsooth, sir, for how are we expected to solve all the problems of the world? England must come first.
Indeed it must. And although most of these continentals are doubtless very fine people...
Aye, doubtless.
There are some desperate criminal elements among them. Moreover, the introduction of continentals with their unusual customs and traditions into a closely bound community such as Lambeth could prove most disruptive. Such differences may provoke tensions that lead to violence.
Indeed, they may. I will have my husband write to Lambeth Palace and demand that the Archbishop do something to protect the folk of Lambeth afore it is too late. Blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
Hear ye! Dean of Rochester Cathedral dies. New Dean pledges to refurnish empty cathedral. Hear ye!
Countrymen, at ease is our reward, for it is not enough to be my friends alone. For you, we sigh, we true and soon, when we see you entering our room.
Good day, Mr. Bell, and well met. I recall you were hoping for a pay rise. How did that go?
Well, I got a pay rise, innit? I took your advice about banding together with the other hired men and gabbing about how much coin we was getting. Turns out, another one of the lads weren't getting paid enough for his lady parts neither. So, we all refused to do our rehearsals until the boss man fixed it.
Well done, Mr. Bell. I must say I am most proud of you.
But this day, I am come about my skin. She's so clapped, I need twice as much ceruse as normal.
Ah, yes, Venetian ceruse, the white lead and vinegar paste ladies and players use to whiten their faces.
You have to fix it for me, Doctor, for my role in Mr. Shakespeare's new play. I'm to play a lady who disguises herself as a lawyer.
A lady cunningly disguised as a lawyer? Forsooth, how original. But I see not why you need worry over your complexion. Having a sound grasp of Latin and a talent for eloquence are the usual qualifications of a legal advocate, are they not? Is it verily necessary for this lawyer to have beauty as well?
Well, Mr. Burbage seems to think so.
These are enlightened times, and we must have confidence in our audience that they will accept, even welcome, the notion of a lady of learning, as long as she be lovely enough to lie with.
I see. And 'tis true your skin is looking a little less than lovely at present. Let us see if we may find a remedy for it in the stars. What is the matter with Humphrey Bell's face, and what may be done to improve its appearance? If I have learned anything from my feminine querence, 'tis that for most women beauty is not born but earned. 'Tis oft a mere artifice produced by much labour and toil.
But I do toil hard, Dr. Foreman. I use a 3-step beauty regimen to get myself looking lovely, innit?
Only 3 steps? I must be frank with you, young sir. If you lack sufficient beauty, mayhap 'tis for a lack of effort on your part. I shall note some instructions down for you.
Oi, if you please, Doctor.
First, scrub your face with a mixture of eggshells, alum, and honey. Then you must apply rose water and lemon juice to help rid your face of wrinkles and blemishes. Then apply the white of a raw egg to your face. 'Twill act as a kind of glaze over your complexion. Oh, and have you considered purchasing an ass? Some of my querents bathe in ass's milk to soften their skin.
I doubt my landlady will be allowing me to keep no donkey in her attic, but methinks I can do all them other things. I thank you kindly, Doctor. I promise I will not let you down.
Mr. Foreman, doubtless I need not explain why you have been brought before the College of Physicians this day. We have been informed that you persist in practicing medicine without a license, in defiance of the law and in spite of previous warnings given you by myself and my distinguished colleagues. How do you answer this charge? Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Sirrah?
I say that I am a good doctor, and that my many years of experience have allowed me to perfect my methods as a true physician.
You would dare speak of your methods, Mr. Foreman? We are informed that you write your patients' names and complaints in a notebook, doubtless all the better to blackmail them with.
Ah, yes, my case books. Indeed, sir, 'tis most useful to be able to remember a querent's history.
Furthermore, you use astrological readings not simply to predict the course of an illness or judge the best time for a treatment, as good medicine teaches us, but you find the cause of the disease in the stars. You refuse to examine your patient's urine for this purpose.
Well, yes,
And you would dare claim that in these past years you have gained medical knowledge and skill from mere experience? Then I invite you to provide proof of it now. You will submit to an examination. Silence! Simon Foreman, it is clear to me the answers you have just given were not your own, and that they were provided to you this day by some unnatural means. Such foul trickery and dark magic will not be tolerated within these walls. Remove this charlatan, this carnival quack from my sight.
What, again? I demand to speak with my legal counsel. You will regret this!
His blood has suffered woe. Life has brought her very low. Mayhap there be some solution, though. Read the stars and we shall know.
Well met, Alice, dear friend. Since your husband's death, I have oft thought of you. Fare you well?
Oh, Foreman, I am sorry for not coming to see you sooner, for I was grateful for your warning about Blag's illness. It gave me the sense to bide with him in his final hours. It was only then that I did realise how much I did love the old fool, despite his mump-headed nature and his leaving me and the children with not a penny between us. But the day after he passed, I came upon a note he had writ for me. I warrant that was your idea, was it, Foreman?
It may have been.
Then I thank ye for it, Simon, for 'twas a comfort to be left something to remember him by, even if it be the only thing he did leave me. But things are better since I did become Mistress Macy.
Then you have remarried?
Aye, 'twas the only means of putting a roof over our heads and meat in our bellies, and Mr. Macy is a kind man. Oh, but Foreman, we may not have our roof much longer. Macy has threatened to leave me.
The brute!
Well, to be fair, I suppose I did fail to apprise him of the full extent of Blag's debts, which are, as you know, not inconsiderable. But what am I to do about it now?
Ah, yes, of course. By marrying you, he is now responsible for the debts of your late husband, according to the law. In sooth, 'tis a high price to pay for a wife. No matter the marital bliss her bountiful charms and fine qualities do doubtless afford him.
Ah, save it for another day, Foreman. 'Tis not your chub-brained flattery I am come for. 'Tis your counsel.
Then let us see if the stars may offer a solution. How may Alice May say prevent her husband petitioning for a divorce? Alas, you have little hope of calming your new husband's feelings about your late husband's debts. But the stars suggest that your family might go abroad, and thus put yourself out of the reach of Blagg's creditors. You must do this without delay.
Go abroad? You mean where foreigners live?
Aye. My chart also suggests that you find some creative solution to ensure your husband's cooperation in such a project. Has he ever expressed an interest in the New World colonies? Or perchance you might suggest an extended tour of Roman antiquities.
Nay, but I will put my mind to it. But if we do go abroad, this is doubtless the last time I shall ever see you, Foreman.
Hear ye! Nation mourns death of beloved Queen. King James of Scotland tipped to succeed to the English throne. Hear ye!
Humphrey Bell, you must not take so ill, for your beauty does fade. We do adore you still. Our eyes are so wide, our thoughts so undefined, at the sight of your shapely behind.
Good day, Mr. Bell. Oh, I must congratulate you on your performance of the comely lady lawyer in The Merchant of Venice, and methinks your skin is much improved. 'Tis verily glowing.
Aye, all those beauty tips you gave me were wondrous well. 'Tis true, it takes me a full hour every morning even to do my face, but at least I'm comely enough now to keep working, innit?
Forsooth, 'tis well to hear the troubles with your skin are resolved. Now, what is it you come for this day?
Mr. Shakespeare has written a new play, and I need to look younger if I'm to get a good part in it. 'Tis about an ancient Roman general called Titus Andronicus. I wish to play the role of his comely mother, the Lady Tamara.
You need to look younger in order to play a man's mother, you say. But according to my casebook, why, sir, you are not yet 25 years of age.
Aye, sir, indeed. 'Tis but the business of playing, though, innit? At least, according to Mr. Burbage, he was well vexed when I pointed out how the man played Titus is near as old as I am.
If the stage is not to your liking, Mr. Bell, I invite you to seek employment elsewhere.
All right, then. Let us see what the stars advise. What can be done to make my querent Humphrey Bell appear younger? My chart suggests if you were to undergo some manner of transformation, it might help you recapture your youthful allure.
Like, what kind of transformation?
Well, you might consider changing over your appearance. My lady querents tell me that a change of hair or wig colour can leave them feeling quite renewed, particularly those ladies who have lately been cast aside by a lover.
You saying I just changed my hair and bish bash bush a little younger?
Apparently so. I am told that lightening the hair can be particularly efficacious, as it evokes a youthful, almost childlike appearance in a woman. Such lightening is easily achieved by soaking the hair in urine.
Urine? Like stick my head in my chamber pot or something?
Aye, mayhap after you make your morning water. Fresh urine is usually preferred, for then 'tis agreeably warm when applied to the head.
I will not lie, that sounds mad. But if all the ladies are doing it, I might give it a try.
What is energy for dinners and parties? That's not to run. Say, can you conceive of what could be achieved if you give a man?
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I do, sir?
Oh, Dr. Foreman, I have urgent need of your advice. Oh, woe! I know not what I am to do.
On my word, madam, I have never before seen you in such a state. Pray tell, whatever can the matter be?
'Tis my husband, Captain Fortescue. God mend me! He has been implicated in a conspiracy to commit treason.
Ah, yes, your husband, Captain Henry Fortescue. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, is he not? Oh, methinks I see your problem. For Raleigh has been implicated in a plot against our new king, has he not? 'Tis said the plotters wished to oust the king and install the king's cousin on the throne. Or was Raleigh involved in that other plot? The one to kidnap the king and force him to appoint a more religiously tolerant privy council. In truth, there are so many plots against the English throne these days, 'tis hard to keep abreast of them all.
Indeed, I know not which plot Sir Walter was arrested for, but I have heard tell that the Privy Council seeks to find conspirators amongst his associates. Hence I have been hiding my husband in our cellar and pretending he's still away at sea.
But why would your husband fear arrest? Was he involved in Sir Walter Raleigh's plot?
Nay, he was not. But all London believes that he and Sir Walter are very great friends.
Ah, yes, I see. But what of your own friends, Mistress Fortescue? All those lords, ladies, and bishops who have so oft graced your table, would they not speak in your husband's defence?
Well, dear Emma says she will speak for my husband, but alas, she now has little influence at court on account of some scandals of her own. As for my other acquaintances, they have all disowned me. They decline my invitations, and no one is at home to me when I call upon them. Even Sir Munchelot has stopped speaking to me.
Even your parrot, madam? On my word, that is very cold.
I beseech you, sir, read the stars and tell me how I might save my husband from arrest. Pray assure me he will be safe.
Let us see, then. Is Captain Henry Fortescue in danger of being arrested for treason? If so, what might Mistress Fortescue do to prevent it? Madam, although your friends in the royal court may no longer own you in public, perchance they could be prevailed upon to act on your behalf in private. Verily, madam, I urge you to write to them and bid them use their influence in your family's favour. Mayhap they can quietly speak well of your husband to the king and to the lords of the Privy Council. In the meantime, you must behave as if you have nothing to fear or be ashamed of, as if your husband is full innocent of treason. Hold your head high, Mistress Fortescue.
But Dr. Foreman, surely you see how low I am come.
Madam, have you not before suffered the slings and arrows of social misfortune and yet risen victorious?
Well,
You had a house full of guests purging from all their orifices, and yet you did not waver. You suffered an attack upon your mucosal membrane by the most fiendish of New World fruits, those known to affright the bravest of conquistadors, and yet you soldiered on. And after you played the fool before lords, bishops, and countesses, still they thronged for invitations to your luncheons. Truly, madam, are you not a leader amongst women? Reclaim your place at London's dinner tables and use it to save your husband. Take back your Camelot.
Indeed, sir. I shall not be cowed by spiteful wagging tongues any longer. I now go forth to restore my husband's honour and our family's good name.
Fare you well, and Godspeed, Mistress Fortescue.
Humphrey Bell, your time upon the stage grows near to its end as you advance in age. But hold, no tears, come down, resign your fears, you're just too old to earn a living wage.
Good day to you, young sir. May I say, your playing of Titus Andronicus's comely mother was excellent. Well, a wondrous performance, Mr. Bell.
Yay, I did get to play the role of Tamara in the end, but it weren't on account of changing my hair, innit? Lightning made it too fair. All the other players are like, bruv, you look like a Neverlander or something.
Ah, I must own I did not account for the risk of that.
Boss man only let me keep the role because Mistress Burbage made him. This why I need your help, Doctor, for now she says I'm in her debt and she's asking me for things.
Ah, she wants her pound of flesh, does she?
I said, she does. And she's told me in bare detail which part of my body she means to have it from.
On my word! But surely, Mr. Bell, if Mistress Burbage's attentions occasion you discomfort, you have merely to tell her so. Make it plain you wish your relationship to remain professional and bid her abstain from any amorous advances.
You what? Nay, sir. If I air her, she'll be vexed and I could lose my job. Know you what I mean?
Ah, I see, yes. If she were to take umbrage, she might use her influence over her husband to prevent you from getting work. Well, I do have a recipe for a very effective aphrodisiac. Nay? Then let us see what the stars advise. How might Humphrey Bell calm the ardour of Mistress Burbage without it costing him his career? The stars indicate that Mistress Burbage harbours an excess of choler in her heart. It has given her a somewhat dominating disposition, and such women oft show a preference for men they perceive to be submissive.
What are you saying, Doc?
Perchance if you were to adopt a more assertive, commanding demeanour, Mistress Burbage's lustful ardour may be tempered.
What you mean, like, be all hench and that? I will not lie, 'tis not me though, innit? You heed me.
But you are a skilled player, are you not? Think upon it as a role I have given you, as if all the world's a stage and you are merely playing. At being, hench, as you so call it. You can do it, Mr. Bell.
Aye. Yea, methinks I can. I thank you kindly, Dr. Foreman.
Lancelot Moore is doubtless a fool, yet men of his class are destined to rule. They tell us 'tis but the order of things, as is the divine right of kings.
Good even, Mr. Moore. How may I do you service?
I have a mind to take up a profession and would have your counsel on it. For I must say, your advice thus far has been most excellent. Counselling me not to marry that sly succubus Emma Dyer did veritably save my life. Indeed, I have heard it rumoured that her husbands have a lamentable habit of dying, if you follow my meaning. In short, their deaths are most unnatural and not at all accidental. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Foreman?
Aye, I do, Mr. Moore. Pray afford me a moment to recover from the excess of shock and surprise I do feel upon being told of the lady's true nature. Now, you say you wish to take up a profession. 'Tis a military career you're considering, I presume? You wish to distinguish yourself in battle?
Nay, 'tis a career in the church. I have a mind to take holy orders.
You wish to become a clergyman? Pray tell, how came you by this notion?
'Twas given me by the top dog himself, the Archbishop of Canterbury. He's a hunting chum of my father's. Aye, the Archbishop is a crack shot with a musket. You should see him at it, Foreman. Give the man half an hour and a pouch of lead shot, and he'll turn your duck pond into duck soup. It seems the Archbishop has had his eye on me for quite some time.
Verily, indeed.
He says I show great promise, and that under his personal tutelage I should rise very rapidly. He even said he has a mind to make me Bishop of Salisbury.
Ah, yes, the much-coveted bishopric of Salisbury.
But before I make my final decision, Foreman, I thought I'd better come to you first.
Aye, very wise of you. Then let us see what the stars foretell. Would my querent, Lancelot Moore, enjoy success as a clergyman? May I discourse frankly, sir, as someone who has guided you these many years past?
Yea, I suppose so.
Have you considered that your particular tastes and proclivities might be ill-suited to a life of service in the church?
My tastes and proclivities? Ha! If you only knew of the tastes and proclivities indulged at the Archbishop's Palace in Lambeth, I would tell you what they are, Foreman. But what occurs at Lambeth Palace bides.
At Lambeth Palace. Yes, I'm well aware. But as for his offering you the bishopric of Salisbury, well, the stars do indicate that His Grace has promised the bishopric of Salisbury to every dean from here to the Isle of Man. He is unlikely to ever grant it to you.
Verily? He has? How very wrong of the Archbishop to make promises he does not keep. You were very right to warn me of this, for I do not think I could bide the company of such a man for long. I thank you, Foreman. You have served me well this day.
Here comes crafty Emma, what does she ask for now? Many times is needed to say, despite sins, may she be saved, the rest of what God gave. Here comes crafty Emma, what does she ask for now?
God give you good day, madam.
Good day to you, sir, and well met.
And how fares your husband, Lady Dyer? I recall you were worried for his health.
'Twas the diabetes, the disease you judged him as having. He died from wounds that never healed.
You mean the wound on his lordship's hand? But I recall you saying it was quite small.
Oh, yes, that wound was, but he acquired many more. One evening, whilst we were summering at our country estate, the stone railing of our balcony gave way, and he fell into some particularly thorny rose bushes.
Verily? How distressing. And he never recovered from the scratches?
Nay, 'twas most tragical and so forth.
Well, I am sorry to hear of your husband's passing, but, madam, are you quite well? You do not seem yourself this day, if I may remark on it.
Dr. Foreman, I am more myself than you have ever seen me, for during these past years I have been playing a role that has served me well, to be sure, but I am grown tired of it. Indeed, I am not proud of my dissembling. I'm not proud of some other things besides.
And doubtless you are come to unburden yourself by confessing your, what those things are.
What? Nay, of course not. As I was saying, whilst my dissimulations have afforded me wealth and status, such a life as I have lived has not fulfilled me. For though I have been married many times and known many men, I have always lacked one important thing.
A moral compass?
And that thing is love. In short, I have found love, Dr. Foreman, and the object of my affection is not one of these privileged popinjays I've met at the royal court. Nay, 'tis a real man, a man who knows what it is to make his own way in the world.
Oh, you mean to say... You mean you and I?
Verily, upon seeing him play Tamara in Titus Andronicus at the Globe one even, I was, well, my heart was took.
I see. You are in love with a player then, I take it.
Aye, and I wish to marry him. But first, I would know whether such a match be advisable. Is our love true, or is my considerable coin and property where his true affections lie? Such a deception would not surprise me in truth.
Well, nay, doubtless it would not. Let us see whether the stars can tell us. The stars bless the match between you and the young man.
They do not think it would be bad for him in some way. They do not judge.
The chart indicates that your relationship with this young man has changed you. It would be a faithful, lasting marriage.
Verily? I must own I dared not expect such a happy ending to my story. I thank ye heartily, Dr. Foreman.
Humphrey Bell, our thoughts we must disclose. Though your acting is fine, you were too many clothes. 'Tis hot, ribite not, fuss not, sit down, recline upon this couch and take a little wine.
Good day, Mr. Bell. I see here in my notes the last time you came to us for counsel regarding Mistress Burbage and her tender advances.
Aye, and your advice to be dominating her were very well. This made Mr. Burbage start seeing me in a whole new light, innit? He was well impressed when I told her to go make me some pottage before rehearsal.
If you are so eager to comport yourself like a man, Humphrey, methinks 'tis time you did so upon the stage.
I see. So, as well as resolving the matter with Mistress Burbage, you have also been promoted to playing male roles now. On my word, that is very well to hear.
'Tis about another lady I'm come this day. 'Tis a member of the audience who comes to all my performances and brings me flowers and sweetmeats. A mature lady. A widow, innit?
Another one. On my word, you are most ill-fortuned, Mr. Bell. Verily, are no young players safe these days from being preyed upon by lecherous old ladies?
'Tis not all ladies, Dr. Foreman. Not this one, anyways. Emma ain't like any of the other ladies I've met. In truth, Dr. Foreman, we wish to be wed. I love her, innit?
Then what is your trouble?
Well, I've heard tell of some vexing things. There are them that say she has a heart of stone and only marries to get her hands on a man's money, though I have none, and she bare rich. But she has been widowed many times, and there's even a rumour saying she's had a hand in her husband's deaths.
Oh, verily? How shocking.
I must own to being a trifle shook by it, and maybe a bit excited as well, but mainly shook, innit?
Doubtless you are, for 'tis most frightening if there be any truth to these rumours. We must consult the stars and see whether it be wise for you to marry. Should Humphrey Bell wed this wealthy widow, and what will become of him if he does? Mr. Bell, it has been my privilege to guide you over the years in matters of work and in life. Wisely, I hope, but certainly with the greatest sense of care for your well-being. Indeed, I have come to think of you as a father might think of a son. 'Tis a responsibility I have not taken lightly, and in loco parentis, as it were, I feel an obligation to...
Sir, begging your pardon, sir, but I'm going to stop you right there, because I need to know, innit? Should I marry Emma or not?
Yes, I believe you may safely marry this lady, Mr. Bell. The stars suggest the rumours you did hear about her are needlessly cruel.
So 'tis all lies then?
Well, not quite all lies, nay. The stars do also indicate that the lady was formerly most fixated upon the acquisition of money, though 'twould seem she no longer harbours such pecuniary passions, such as is consistent with her desire to marry a penniless player such as yourself.
Sir, then 'tis decided. I shall marry my dear, sweet Emma. I'd be honoured if you came to see us wed, Dr. Foreman, if you be not too busy in that.
The honour shall be all mine, young Humphrey.
Many oft takes high young niece to the cock-fighting pits. She prefers a hiding, though she readily admits. Fueled after drinking turnip wine until she's off her farm. La, 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 la.
Good morrow, Mistress Payne. It has been quite some time since I last saw you. Did you ever hear from the Archbishop? I recall your husband was intending to write to him, expressing your concerns about the Continentals.
Aye, we did write, but he never replied. Not that I am surprised, mind you, as they do say that Archbishop Whitgift is a very idle man, not to speak of the unsavoury goings-on within the walls of Lambeth Palace. They say that in the great dining hall the Archbishop and his guests do feast and carouse from dusk till dawn, and 'tis said that in some of the palace rooms they indulge in fornication and sodomitical sins.
Verily, indeed. Then, doubtless that leaves him very little time to reply to every...
Truly, methinks being surrounded by such decadence and corruption of the flesh is likely to have made the Archbishop very hard. Aye, bearing witness to so much vice would make a man very hard indeed. Hard, Dr. Foreman? Insensible to the needs and difficulties of ordinary folk such as you and I. Verily, I do not wonder that such a hard man gave me no satisfaction. Which is why I am come to you this day, Dr. Foreman. Something did trouble me last night, and I would have you tell me what it might have been.
I will if I can, madam. Prithee, describe it to me.
Well, at first was the noise of a boat that did awaken me. I got up out of bed and went to the window to see what was. As you know, on 4th Street we are right by the banks of the Thames. In the moonlight, I could just make out a ferry crossing the river, loaded up with large barrels.
And you thought it suspicious?
Aye, indeed, for the hour was very late and the boat's lamp was not lit. I did not wake Mr. Payne to ask his opinion, for, in truth, he has told me he wishes to hear no more about the things I see from our window. So, I am come to you, for I can have no rest until I know who those men were and what they were doing. Who knows what foul deeds may be afoot in Lambeth Town? Mayhap the men I saw were Catholic spies, engaging in some manner of nefarious plot against the realm.
Then let us see. What does God have to say regarding this boat you saw crossing the Thames last night? Was it some kind of elaborate Catholic plot, or is there a more likely explanation? You did well to come to me, Mistress Payne. The stars confirm that the events you witnessed last night do indeed portend of doings of a most foul and sinister nature. I will pass your information on to one of my querents, whom I may not name, but who is a member of Her Majesty's Secret Service and reports directly to Her Majesty's Privy Council.
I knew I could rely upon you, Dr. Foreman. You and I doing such important work together. We make quite the team, do we not?
I would not say that precisely.
Do not be falsely modest, Dr. Foreman. False modesty is naught but the sin of vanity in disguise. Now, I must to home hasten to tell my neighbours. Forsooth, I must warn them of this grave threat and bid them keep a watchful eye on our local Catholics. Blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
Hear ye! Catholic terror plot to blow up Parliament foiled! Gunpowder barrels discovered in cellar! Hear ye!
'Tis well to jest at merry pain, 'tis well to sneer and mock, until her views become the norm, then 'twill be quite a shock. But for now let's laugh at her and how her niece laughs. How her niece laughs, la 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 la.
Good day, Mistress Payne. You seem in good cheer.
That I am, Dr. Foreman. This day I am taking my niece on a lovely outing to see the cockfighting in Vauxhall.
Ah, there is a cockpit in Vauxhall now, is there?
Aye, and a very fine one. And I did think we need a nice day out to turn our minds away from that terrible affair of the Catholics plotting to blow up the Houses of Parliament. And my niece does so love the cocks.
Doubtless, madam. And the gunpowder plot was indeed a terrible business.
They say it was the doings of a group of young Catholic nobles from the Midlands, do they not? And that the gunpowder was ferried across the Thames at Lambeth under cover of darkness. Doubtless, 'twas the very same boat I did tell you about, Dr. Foreman. And of course, I must congratulate you for recognising how right I was to be suspicious of that boat I saw. Now, I bid you tell me, and do not be coy, Dr. Foreman, was it your relaying of my information to the authorities that foiled the gunpowder plot? Did you and I save England from the Catholics?
I am afraid, madam, that I am not at liberty to confirm nor deny my involvement in the matter.
Ah, but oh my days! Are you ill, Dr. Foreman? Mayhap we are both troubled with the same disease, for my eyes do also twitch and prick with pain.
I did remark the condition of your eyes. They are very red in appearance, and you seem troubled with a hacking cough. For how long have you had these troubles?
Only these past few days, and as well as my eyes and my cough, I do also find it a trifle vexing to breathe.
Then let us now consult the stars. What ails Mistress Mary Payne? Madam, your symptoms are occasioned by noxious odours. Most likely you did lately inhale a large volume of smoke. Mayhap your chimney requires cleaning.
Indeed it does not, Dr. Foreman. My cleanliness is unimpeachable. I have my maidservant scour the house from top to bottom every day.
Ah, then I cannot be sure what has occasioned your... Hold. What is that acrid odour? Methinks it does emanate from your clothing. Madam, have you been taking part in the anti-Catholic pogroms that Lambeth has witnessed these past days? The burning of houses and shops. The lynching of priests from trees upon Lambeth Green.
Mayhap I have, and what of it? You should be congratulating me and my ilk for keeping you safe, and for sending a clear message to those Catholics who would plot against our Parliament and blow us up with gunpowder.
Madam, these Catholics are our neighbours, our colleagues, and our friends. I beseech you to consider your actions, madam. Are not Catholics people too, just as we are? If you prick them, do they not bleed?
Aye, and their flesh does burn the same and all. I fear I do not follow your reasoning, Dr. Foreman.
Are they not subject to the same diseases, healed by the same cures as we are? And if not cured, then, alas, taken so soon, so needlessly. I did never have the chance to... Oh, my sweet Avis, can you ever forgive me?
Is something the matter with you, Dr. Foreman? On my honour, you do seem most troubled. Mayhap you should be going to consult with a doctor yourself. God keep you well, Dr. Foreman. Blessed day.
Hear ye! London struck by plague. Playhouses closed by order of the king. Hear ye!
Save us, Almighty Lord. Save us from the wrath of God. Upon us he hath wrought his vengeance, just in Is that not your job?
God give you good day, your grace. How fare you this...
Know you whether the plague will reach as far as Lambeth? Have you seen it in the stars?
Ah, the plague that has begun to spread throughout London. Rest assured, your grace, if the plague does indeed reach Lambeth, the people of Lambeth will have me, Dr. Simon Foreman, at their service. My renowned strong water cure will doubtless be required.
I bid you, read the stars for me now. Will or will it not reach Lambeth?
Of course, as it pleases, your grace. Let us see what the stars have to say. Will the London plague reach beyond the city walls to Lambeth? Ah, yes. The stars are most clear on the matter. Very clear indeed.
Then what do they say? Tell me!
Well, before I give you my answer, I would have your decision on granting me that medical license we spoke of on your previous visits. I am sorry, your grace, but I must insist upon it.
I would gladly do so, but I find my hands tied due to various episcopal and doctrinal... As I see you are determined not to let the matter rest, I will speak true. Some years ago, the Queen's physician, Dr. Richard Smith, did write me a letter on behalf of the College of Physicians. He warned me in the strongest terms against granting you a medical license. So you see, I cannot grant you a license without raising the ire of the College of Physicians.
But
Now, Dr. Foreman, doubtless you are thinking that a man of my position, one of the most powerful men in England, should not be so easily put off by such a letter. However, and methinks you know this from your own experience, the college is a terrifying organisation that will stop at nothing to get their way. One would be better off defying the Queen herself than the licensed doctors of London. For whilst our Lord God in heaven may be merciful, the College of Physicians is not.
Aye, verily, I must own that what you say is very true.
But mayhap I will furnish you with a letter of recommendation to the University of Cambridge. They may confer upon you a medical degree, and thereby a medical license.
I thank you, Your Grace.
Now, prithee, answer my question.
I have bad news, Your Grace. Lambeth will not escape the plague this time. Things are quiet now, but as I learned during the plague of '92, events may change apace. You must leave Lambeth before it's too late.
I feared as much. I must begin preparations for the removal of the palace household to Sussex.
Before you go, Your Grace, I believe you were intending to write me a letter of recommendation.
Well, indeed, I will reflect on the quality of advice you have given me over the years, and if I judge that you have acted with some skill, then I will have my chaplain draft you a letter of recommendation and have it sent to you. Good day, Dr. Foreman.
Foreman gained a license to everyone's surprise. A true and proper doctor at last legitimized. But now he's risen not so far from whence he began. We'll be comic book still, see Foreman as our man.
You cannot board up my house! 'Tis not a plague house! You are mistaken! I do not have the plague! Let me out of here! Know you not who I am, you fools? I am Simon Foreman, Doctor of Astrology and Physic! Fie upon those ungrateful wretches! Have I not always been there for them when they needed me? Am I not the doctor who risked his life to cure them during the plague of '92, when all the other doctors and their high-born friends fled London and left them to die? Indeed, mayhap next time I will think again before risking my life in the service of the townsfolk, if this is the way I'm to be repaid. And forsooth, if my deeds are so easily forgotten by the living, what chance is there for my work to be remembered by generations to come? What will the world know of me once I'm gone? I see. Many years will pass before my work is to be given the recognition it deserves. Men living centuries from now, mayhap even ladies, will study my treatises and casebooks with great care and write histories about my work. But hold, does not Mr. Shakespeare tell the lives of great men upon the stage? Perchance playwrights will use the wondrous stage machinery of the future to illuminate my work. Mayhap the story of my life will be told by players, for my work is of great historical importance, and now that I have a medical license, not even the College of Physicians has the power to discredit me. But if I am to go forth into the world to make any further contributions to the advancement of medical science, I must find a way to pry these wretched boards off my front door. William! William! Fetch me a crowbar!
begins our tale, and all of it is true. Through all of London, bubonic plague spread, covering folk in weeping sores and leaving thousands dead.
From towns and cities, doctors they did flee, leaving their patients to die in misery.
But one brave doctor stayed when all the cowards fled. Might have been because he was too sick to leave his bed.